Of the EFF's briefing, we cross to our reporter Aldrin Sampear, who was at that briefing. He joins us now live to give us a bit more insight into what came out of that briefing, which was after that plenary session, Aldrin, as we understand, around the 2019 elections. And we know it's 2 years away, but if we look at the significance of the EFF in the general elections last year and listening to what Malema had to say today, their objective for 2019 is clear.
Well, yes, the EFF is quite clear on the objective for 2019, but one can't forget what happened in 2016, that significant role that they played in getting the DA to control 3 metros, that is the city of Johannesburg, the city of Tshwane, as well as Nelson Mandela Bay. Julius Malema went at lengths explaining that decision that they took, and he reiterated what they said during the press briefing when they first made the announcement of that decision, that it is better the devil, which is the DA, than the devil, which is the ANC, and he said that they rather vote for the devil than vote for the ANC. He went on lengths explaining and arguing about how the ANC is corrupt and that the public purse is not safe in the hands of the ANC, and the EFF will probably do it again should that opportunity arrive. But quite interestingly, though, is the announcement here today that they are now gunning for a municipality in the Free State. Remember that that's a municipality that the municipality will be going through by-elections, not too sure about the date, and in those by-elections they want the DA to support the EFF like the EFF supported the DA, and vote for the EFF so that the EFF has its first municipality that it will be controlling. Well, this is definitely in contrast to what Julius Malema said when they made the decision to support the DA last year. They said that, listen, through the results it's quite clear that the people believe that the EFF is not ready to govern, and that's the reason that they will be giving their votes away, and that they've decided to give their votes away to the DA. If I remember the quote directly, was that they will not run a municipality by hook or by crook. They'd rather wait for the next elections. But it seems as though that they've had a change of heart, and probably believe that if they have one municipality at least that they can control, they'll be able to show many potential voters the services that the EFF will be able to deliver, not only to that municipality but to municipalities throughout the country. Also quite significant is the issue around the public protector Mkhwebane. He went at lengths arguing that the public protector said that they made a terrible mistake by supporting Mkhwebane. Remember that the EFF was one of her cheerleaders when the parliament was interviewing the various candidates who were going for the public protector's office job. They said that she's the perfect candidate. She did well during the interviews, and it would be nice and it would be great to have a female also occupy or succeed another female in the office of the public protector. And now they've realized that they've made a terrible mistake. He did indicate that the EFF is waiting for a few other documents or evidence, if I'm not mistaken, that they will be using to get Mkhwebane removed as the public protector of South Africa.
Very interesting, Aldrin, and that leads me to my next question. He spoke a lot about the EFF having saved the country, and he also weighed in on the ANC succession battle.
Well, yes, when he was speaking about how the EFF, well, he was saying that one day South Africans will appreciate and say that the EFF has saved the country. He was speaking on the state capture report and quite significantly focusing on what's happened at Eskom. He said that apparently there was a meeting between the current acting CEO of Eskom as well as with the Gupta family, a Gupta-owned company that got the contract to provide coal to Eskom. Remember the 800 million rand contract that's also cited in the Public Protector's State of Capture report. He indicated that there was a meeting between the acting CEO where this company now has decided to stop the relationship with Eskom, but the acting CEO said no. And he says that the acting CEO got the confidence from parties like the EFF because the EFF has been bold enough to speak out against things that they don't believe in. And this person, the acting CEO of Eskom, has also had the confidence to speak out against what he believes is corruption. We don't have confirmation of that meeting taking place.
All right, and Aldrin, he also had a lot to say about democracy across the continent. He was quite outspoken towards ZANU-PF and Robert Mugabe, and also speaking about what's been happening in the Gambia.
Well, yes, remember that the first time actually that Julius Malema mentioned that Robert Mugabe should go was last year when I think it was just after the death of the former Cuban leader. That after that happened, Julius Malema mentioned that leaders should know when to step down, one of them being Robert Mugabe, and he reiterated that today, that Robert Mugabe should go. He believes that there are many vibrant young people within ZANU-PF who would be able to carry on policies that Robert Mugabe has been championing, policies such as land redistribution, and he was speaking about the EFF as well, saying that the EFF will be championing those policies, but it is time for Robert Mugabe to go. He even said that Robert Mugabe even struggles to hold a shovel, and that's the reason that he should step down. It is not time, it's now time rather to bring in new young leaders within ZANU-PF to take over the different policies that Robert Mugabe has been championing. And then on the issue of Gambia, he also went at length speaking about that, saying that the former president Yahya should have stepped down immediately, as he had indicated before when he seceded and said that he has been defeated rather, and he accepted the defeat and said he would step down. He said that the big mistake actually came when Barrow then made the announcement that he will be taking the former president on, and the former president must be charged for all the crimes against humanity that he believes that was committed in the Gambia. And that's the reason that there was that contestation where you had the former president who refused to step down, but he believes that the former president should have stepped down, but he believes, of course, that the mistake was with the current president, Barrow, who made the announcement that they will be charging Yahya. And then there's another one. There's the issue around Morocco. Remember that the AU summit is sitting, and Morocco would bring in an application to be resubmitted, to be readmitted into the AU. His stance, or the EFF stance on that, is that Morocco should not be allowed to be a member of the AU. There was their decision to leave the AU in the first place, and another reason that they shouldn't be allowed back into the AU is the occupation of the Sahara. They believe that the ANC itself should also take a stance on this, and they will be watching quite closely what happens when the discussion around Morocco's application is being discussed at the AU, what stance the South African government will be taking.
And Aldrin, what's the EFF stance on Donald Trump? Did he have anything to say about that?
Well, yes, actually, when he started off the statement, he spoke about the balance of forces, and specifically looking at what's happening internationally. And one of the questions that came from the floor was around the presidency of Donald Trump, and he said that the presidency of Donald Trump is an attack, and it's an attack against the fight against racism, the fight against xenophobia. But he also went as far as speaking about economic policies, for instance, of the Americas, and how that would affect the country and affect relations within South Africa. And he was speaking about, for instance, this big issue around the chicken dumping, the dumping of chickens here in South Africa. And he said that because of those policies, some jobs have been lost in factories here in South Africa, and that would continue if these economic policies of the Americas stay as they are. He also went at length speaking about capitalism, saying that this is another form of capitalism that is unfolding not only in the United States but also in Europe.
All right, and Aldrin, one more before I let you go. He spoke about this being the year of the branch and the branch getting stronger, and with that he mentioned a lot of sort of humanitarian works that EFF branch members would be getting involved in, from environmental issues to looking after the elderly. What do you think he's getting at with this?
Well, this is another way of trying to strengthen the branches of the EFF. Remember, their vision is Vision 2019. They want to lead government. As they've always been arguing that they are a government in waiting. And a way of doing that is by making sure that you strengthen your branches. And remember that earlier on we spoke about how they're bringing in a new structure, a new layer, which would be focusing on ward structures. So you have the national structure, you have the provincial, you have the regional regional, and then you have the branches. But now you'll also have different structures at a ward level. Every voting district will have its own structures, and that is to strengthen the branches of the EFF and possibly to make the EFF more popular within communities, because once you have a situation where you have different EFF members going on all these humanitarian works that you've just listed, then you will find an EFF that becomes more popular with the different communities at a grassroots level, and that's where the EFF feels that they need to strengthen, and this is one of their strategies of making sure that the EFF becomes bigger come 2019.
Aldrin, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Aldrin Sampear with us live from that briefing by the EFF. Stay with us. We'll take a short